Welcome, everyone. Today, I am really pumped about the topic because we're going to be talking about marrying AI and LinkedIn. And we're talking specifically about network marketing and the AI LinkedIn advantage. And our special guest expert today is Al Kushner. Al, welcome. It's great to have you here.
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity.
So, Al, as I was mentioning to you before, I kind of became known in the network marketing world as the queen of LinkedIn. But you've gone way beyond where I was in terms of marrying AI with LinkedIn. Can you tell us about how you got into that? And I mean, it makes tons of sense, but I'd love to hear how you got into this whole thing of linking AI and LinkedIn.
Well, as a self-proclaimed king of LinkedIn now, um, and what I enjoyed about doing research on the book was that I looked in the marketplace to see what books were available on LinkedIn and AI, and nothing existed. So I saw a great opportunity to create content that's going to be relevant for people nowadays as AI is growing in technology. It's being a tremendous tool for many people to use to promote their services and to expand their experience on LinkedIn.
And how much has LinkedIn really embraced AI?
Well, wouldn't say as far as LinkedIn embracing it. I think the fact that people are using AI and using AI with LinkedIn to create content, to create scripts for videos, to optimize their profile with keywords, which has never been done before. I mean, it's always been left to chance by any means. And I think that people are realizing that this tool could be a game changer in terms of creating engagement and to consider yourself like a thought authority, because that's really what's great about it. It really raises your level of awareness for people because the content is king on LinkedIn, and that really is going to help you achieve that.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I love about LinkedIn over Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. It really is a content machine. And because they're not percentage wise of users on the platform, there are nowhere near as many people creating content on LinkedIn percentage wise as there are in Facebook and Instagram and those things. You really have an opportunity to get your content out there more, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Creating content is key. Also, creating videos on LinkedIn is really a opportunity that's grown tremendously because the algorithm of LinkedIn loves videos. So the
Yes.
more you feed it, the better your engagement will be and the reach. And that could be a very important aspect because sometimes when you're posting on YouTube, it can get lost because there's so many videos out there. But LinkedIn helps you engage with people, the right people that you're looking for, particularly in groups, which has been tremendous.
Yeah, I love groups on LinkedIn. Okay, so let's dig specifically into how can network marketers specifically leverage the insights from your book, The AI LinkedIn Advantage, to build stronger connections and really grow their business on LinkedIn?
Well, the book will help you optimize your profile by using certain of the resources I made available. In addition to ChatGPT, I mean, there's several more AI technology software that's available. But what you can do is you can use it to optimize the keywords because LinkedIn is also a search engine too. People don't realize
Yes,
that.
yes.
So, and a lot of times when you type in someone's name, the first thing that may come up is their LinkedIn profile. Well, guess what? When they click on it, if your profile doesn't look good, it really is going to put you at a disadvantage. So you really need to have it optimized with the keywords, have a profile that is professional, like a headshot that is professionally done, as well as a back, your billboard in the back, which is available. You can use it, and most people don't. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that are putting people at a disadvantage by not taking, using AI to help enhance your profile to become more competitive in the marketplace.
So, how specifically do you suggest people use AI in what very specific areas in their profile? Should they be using AI and how should they be using AI to optimize it for the search engine, for example?
Well, certainly you have a headline. I believe you can do up to 60 words, I believe, and you can use it, the keyword SEO optimized. So people who are doing searches on LinkedIn can find you. For example, you're a podcaster and you wanted to have that as part of your profile. So you can include that keyword in there. So if potential speakers want to go on your program, they know that you can be contacted and you have an interest in getting guests. that's also a great thing. So in addition, you also want to have a bio there that is rich, and also use the use of white space there. So and focus on
Yeah.
bullet points to make it easy for people to read, not through a bunch of words, but make it short and sweet. And the AI can help optimize the right words to say that make your profile stand out, particularly in your bio, any volunteer work you've done, any awards you received. These are things that are going to help build your credibility, and most importantly, recommendations. That is crucial for any success on LinkedIn, and people seem to ignore that or don't know how to do it altogether. And my book shows you how.
Right. Great. Okay. So we talked a little bit about this, but what role do you think AI plays in optimizing the whole LinkedIn process? And what are some of the other tools aside from ChatGPT that you recommend people use?
Well, I also like Grammarly, which has been really helpful in helping sentence structure, and also looks for ways that help you create content that doesn't look AI generated. So that's something also kind of unique. And it also helps you to find out anything is copyrighted. So it helps you avoid any situations down the road will come up with. And I've liked also Canva, which is great for graphics. It's really
Mhm.
essential, great for your billboard in the back. So I found it to be an invaluable tool to use when creating content. And you also want to use the platform to create videos and scripts. I think that's really going to be helpful. And I can generate scripts on the fly and engage people. That's going to be helpful for them uh, to showcase your talent.
So for someone who really hasn't used LinkedIn very much, or maybe they haven't used AI very much, what do you recommend for the very first steps they take to start getting them going on LinkedIn and using AI to optimize their profile and take advantage of the platform?
Well, certainly, yes. Start with optimizing your profile, focus on the headshot, make it as recent as possible. If you had any type of awards you received, if you have any promotions that you received, that's also helpful. That is included as part of your profile. In addition, join groups on LinkedIn if you haven't joined any. And obviously, the more sizable groups, the better, because when you decide to do outreach, if the people that you're reaching out to is part of that group, it may allow you to be accepted by your invitation because you're part of the group. So that is definitely once you again achieve the optimization of your profile, then you can do outreach. And outreach is key in terms of making right connections, but do it correctly. And that means that don't, for example, reach out and ask to connect with a person, follow them first. A lot of times, especially if you don't know them, that's crucial. If you do know them, yeah, certainly do that. But if you decide to connect with people you don't know, LinkedIn algorithm is going to look at you as a potential spammer, and they may decide to close your account because you've been declined by many people who don't know who you are. So that really can make a difference in your approach. So those are just things right off the top. When you're doing optimization, you do the outreach, but make it meaningful. Whoever you're connecting with, just provide value, and you'll find that your connection will be well received and accepted.
So let's talk more about creating content on LinkedIn because I think content is king. And I think as network affiliate digital marketers, we can really use content to our advantage to provide value, to position ourselves as trusted authorities, to create that know, like, and trust factor. So, video. Talk about what LinkedIn looks for in video. Do they want short form, long form? What are they looking for?
Well, short form certainly is the way to go because people's attention span is very short to begin with. Ideally, anywhere from 30 to 60 seconds, 90 seconds maximum, I would say, is a kind of a sweet spot. And that will certainly get the attention. And whatever you're doing in the videos, it should be educational for the most part by nature, not self-serving, because people see through that as an ad. They're going to turn away from that. If you provide value, I do a lot of educational videos, for example. I post 5 times a week on LinkedIn into different groups. And I found it to be very effective in getting engagement, getting awareness. And if you want to do that, then you need to create content with the help of, let's say, ChatGPT to create ideas for content. And you can also use YouTube as examples to look at which content has been viral. And then maybe take some information from that viral video and make it in your own words. With ChatGPT, you can do that, and your video also may do the same thing, get that viral aspect of it, which could help you raise your awareness on the platform.
What about just posting? And you said you post 5 times a week. Are all five of those video, short form video, or is it a combination of video and a written post?
Well, I do the short form videos 5 days a week, into
Okay.
different groups that I'm part of. And then I have a newsletter that I send out, and I have 5 different newsletters that I send out each week to various groups of people who have subscribed to it. And it's very niche newsletters. I work with referral partners. So I have an accountant newsletter, I have a financial planning newsletter, I have an attorney newsletter. Uh, I have an event planner newsletter. So, and the information I send out, they're received by those who follow me, but also they are notified outside of LinkedIn directly in their inbox, which is great because LinkedIn has such a high authority, it bypasses spam filters. You get directly in the inboxes, which you can never achieve if you send out directly to individuals separately from LinkedIn. Game changer
Right.
right there.
Interestingly, I just did a training a couple weeks ago on LinkedIn newsletters
Hello?
and the power of newsletters because they're crazy, crazy powerful.
Hello?
So, yeah, for those people who don't know about newsletters, can you talk a little bit more about uh, how to create a newsletter, what exactly a newsletter is? Hmm, I think Al froze on us. He did freeze on us. Well, we will edit this part out. There we go. You're back. You're muted again, Al.
A second, unmute. Can you hear me? I hope.
Yes, we can hear you. All right. So let me ask. We'll edit that out. Thank heavens. So I don't do live podcasts anymore. Um, so I'm going to ask you about newsletters. Okay, specifically. So, Al, for those people who don't know about LinkedIn newsletters, they haven't created newsletters. I actually did a training just a couple weeks ago on LinkedIn newsletters and the crazy power of LinkedIn newsletters. But can you give us some ideas, tips on how you might use AI to create a newsletter? So let's say you're uh, an affiliate marketer and you've got a product, a product that you want to sell, a product or service that you want to sell. How would you use a LinkedIn newsletter to help boost your authority and even promote your product or service?
Well, simple. You can use AI, and if you use the right prompts, you'll find that you can customize it to that particular affiliate marketer. For example, ask the AI to create 50 titles of ideas for affiliate marketing, focusing on the pain points people are experiencing with that. And it'll come up with topics that you probably wouldn't even imagine that existed that could be resonate well with the people who are reading your newsletter. At which point you can go ahead and take one of those topics and ask AI to generate an article based on that topic and focus in on pain points. And then, once you receive it, kind of customize it in your own words, so it sounds authentic, and use that to post on for your newsletter content information that could be of value and see what the reaction is. I think that would be
And
important.
and again, really for those people who are not familiar with LinkedIn, what LinkedIn calls a newsletter is really the equivalent of a blog or a blog post, right?
Well, more or less, I would say that it is a newsletter in a sense that people receive it, they're notified once they receive it, they can read the article itself, and they also can read it offline because they'll be notified in their inbox outside of LinkedIn. So the fact is that it's something that helps you become, I would say, an authority when you are producing a newsletter. And that's what something people look forward to each week if you do it weekly, which is ideal to receive it so they can go ahead and decide, all right, this person sounds to know what they're talking about. Maybe they have other information and decide to check out your profile, maybe your services. And that's really what it's all about.
Great. Any other specific ideas, tips for us in terms of content on LinkedIn? We've talked about short form video, we've talked about newsletters. How else can you create content and take advantage of LinkedIn's rich content platform?
Very simple. Follow influencers on LinkedIn in your field. Influencers can make a big difference of you getting engagement. And you can arrange it whereby you can find out when the influencer is posting on LinkedIn. And if you can respond within the first 5 or 10 minutes, that's ideal because they can have hundreds of followers. And a lot of times they'll follow a post once it's done. But if your post comes up in the first, or, after the influencer post, they'll see your post underneath and they can decide to follow you because your post is engaging. And take the information from the influencer, put it into ChatGPT, for example, and create it in a way that you can complement that particular influencer's or expand upon an item that the influencer didn't talk about. And that sometimes helps with engagement. It also helps the influencer too, because it raises the awareness of their profile as well as the engagement. The algorithm loves it because LinkedIn is getting more views on that, and therefore it helps the influencer become possibly going viral with a particular post. So the end result is that you can use the influencers to help you get followers, which is awesome because getting followers is really a challenge on the platform unless you are in the know. But if if you reach out to an influencer by posting instead of trying to engage with them, like asking for connection, they usually turn you down. But if an influencer has, hundreds of followers or even thousands, there's an opportunity to get connected with their followers and reach out with using the technology of AI to help create content that's going to resonate well with his followers or her followers.
So when you say post, do you really mean comment? So let's say there's an influencer you're following and they've just posted something. Are you saying comment on their post? Or okay, that's what
Comment on the post, and also even pose a question that may be not addressed. And the influencer will most likely respond to your particular question, because if they don't, they will be perceived as, not caring at all. So it really gets the engagement. So the influencer may not know you from a hole in the wall, but all of a sudden you post something underneath that gets followers interested in what you're saying and asking a question. The influencer has to respond to you, and that sometimes helps you get on that influencer's radar. So the next time you do post, they may decide to connect with you or do something else that could be helpful in your engagement.
but you're not saying post your own content in the comments of the influencer's post, correct? You're saying engage with that influencer's content by saying love the article and then maybe ask love the article or video or whatever, and then maybe asking a question, correct?
Well, no, you don't want to say, "Oh, thanks for sharing. I love the article." No, you want the AI to read the article for you because the article could be pretty lengthy, and they'll go
Right.
ahead and respond in a way that sounds authentic. So when you do post, it'll be more about what value that post was derived from, how you see that it could be useful, and then pose a question to the influencers. Hey, can you give us an example on how that particular thing worked in your career or what have you? And that's something that will help engagement. So it's more about not thanks for sharing or whatever, but it's about doing more. And that really is going to make a difference in getting on the radar, getting followers interested, and you becoming a potential influencer, as opposed to posting the post on your own, which you may not have any followers to begin with. A person who's just getting started on LinkedIn could have nothing. But this is a great way to get started where you can get followers, where you can ride on the coattails of other influencers to help raise your awareness. And that's a really big thing on LinkedIn.
So would you go so far as to maybe copy an influencer's newsletter, put it into AI, and ask the AI to create a comment and ask a question on this newsletter?
No, it wouldn't be the newsletter, it would be the actual post itself, because the fact is
Okay.
that when you're posting, anyone could follow up on the post of the influencer, but not necessarily in a newsletter, because you don't know how many people are following in the newsletter itself. So you can't really necessarily comment on it, but your comment will go live when they post. And as soon as it does post, within the 5 or 10 minutes, ideally, and you can find out exactly when they're posting, and then you'll be alerted that the influencer had posted, and you have the time to go ahead, analyze their post, reply back to the post that's going to be meaningful and authentic, and then even ask a question to the influencer. And that's really going to help drive engagement. That's really going to be the big difference.
So how do you get notified when an influencer posts?
Well, you can set up in the settings whereby you can actually indicate on the regular LinkedIn, you don't have to use the paid version. As far as if these people are your first connection, you'll be notified of any first connections posting, which is also good too for engagement, Because a lot of times when you engage and meet with someone, usually they don't respond to you. But a lot of times when that person does post, it's usually crickets. Nobody really replies to their posts because most of the time, 9 out of 10, it's self-serving those posts. It's just an ad. It's just whatever they did for the day. They couldn't care less. Okay. And you reply to that post, sometimes you'll get noticed and may decide to engage with you. Same thing with influencers. You can find out when an influence is posting. You can follow the influencer, and then you'll be notified as soon as they post. And then you'll know in advance, the days of the week they post, and then schedule your time around it. So let's say they're posting on Tuesday at 8 o'clock in the morning. You'll be notified at that point, and that's when you strike. You go ahead and you get the information for the post, put it in your chat GPT, regurgitate that in a way that sounds authentic, and then post it underneath their post, and then ask a question. And guess what? You'll have followers reaching out to you. You'll have the influencer decide to have to engage with you and say, okay, I got to respond to this question, because they don't have a choice. If they don't respond, they're going to be seen as, uncaring, and that's really the difference. Also, when you post, don't post and ghost. A lot of people do that, and that's really where you come into problems. So influencers are aware of that. They know they post, they have to respond to whoever is out there, whether it's thanks for sharing or appreciate your comment, or respond, and answer a question they have. They don't have a choice. So AI can help you generate the content for those posts and help you be more engaged in the platform.
Great. Any other tips that you'd like to share for network marketers, affiliate marketers, digital marketers that are out there just thinking about cracking LinkedIn for the first time, or maybe even people who've had experience on LinkedIn, but really haven't optimized it and are really taking advantage of it?
Well, very simple. When you do engage with someone and they reach out and they connect with you, don't pitch slap them. And a lot of those marketers are known to do that. I would say 9 out of 10. You really want to do is just, thanks for connecting, make it, very simple. If you want to even provide a free ebook or some kind of content or a link to share with them, an article that you read that may be of value, that would be it. And just leave it at that. And I would also follow the individual. If they are, you're engaged with them, you have an option on the profile. You can follow them when they post and then engage with their posts. That's where they appreciate the most, is that if you are responding to their post when nobody else does, they'll see you as a value. And that really is going to make a difference for those marketers out there. It's about give more than you take. And a lot of people look at it, if you look at boxing, jab, 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 and then right hook. And that's what you want to do. And that's the way to win over business. And it works.
Yeah, jab, jab, jab. um, So one of the things that I believe is important for the LinkedIn algorithm, because I think so many people are used to Facebook, right? And they think, okay, before I go post anything, I have to go comment on, 10 people's posts. I think it's critically important, and I don't know if you agree with me or not, that in order to train the LinkedIn algorithm in terms of who your target audience is, your ideal target audience, is that you're only commenting. Don't go through your newsfeed and just comment on the first 10 posts. Go through your newsfeed and comment on the posts of the people who are your ideal target audience. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. If you have someone who is an influencer, you're going to find better off spending time on that influencer's post than some person who doesn't have any followers, period. So you really be selective in what you're doing, because there's only a certain amount of time in the day that you can do things on there. So focus in on the influencers, find out exactly when they're posting. You can follow them and then be notified when they post. And that's when your opportunity is to go and reply to the post that they've done. And that's really how you'll help grow your network and expand tremendously.
Now, one last thing, I have a very different methodology for using the LinkedIn profile than I've seen anybody else use. And that is, as a marketer, it really doesn't matter at all what my previous work experience is. It doesn't matter that I'm making this up, that I was a school teacher or a nurse or, an accountant or a bookkeeper or whatever for the product or service I'm marketing today. What I did in my education and my past work history has absolutely nothing to do with what I'm doing, and really doesn't give me any credibility, because the two things are not tied together in any way, shape, or form. So I suggest to people that in their experience section, they get rid of all their resume information, get rid of it all, and use each experience section as a way to provide value, give people information on what it is you are currently doing. So let's say you've got an AI program that you're promoting. So you could use each experience section as a way to give people information on how to use AI, tips and techniques on using AI, maybe the best prompts for something or other. Or maybe you are someone who's in the health and wellness sector and you've got a product or service that's all based around heart health. I'm making this stuff up completely, right? And so then you would use one of your experience sections to give people really valid information, really provide value around heart health. And maybe you put some videos in your experience section. So my approach to LinkedIn is very different from other people's approaches, and it's very specifically for the marketer. I wouldn't suggest that an attorney or an accountant or somebody else use LinkedIn this way. But as a marketer, I want to provide value to my target audience and telling them that, I taught school 35 years ago doesn't provide any value whatsoever. Um, so you can also use AI incredibly to help create that experience section that is providing value around your product or service. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, certainly providing a more richer profile and highlighting some of the things that are currently what means of value to people. But I wouldn't say discount experience is not a thing, because sometimes people identify with certain things. Maybe you are a school teacher and the person you're connecting with was a school teacher as well. They may identify with that person because of that fact or other things that may be of value. So if someone comes in and they're 2 years as a network marketer and then nothing else before that, people are going to be suspicious. Like, what has this person been doing since that time? I mean, that's really, draws more attention than anything else. So I would add at least some experience over there. You don't have to talk about all the days that you worked at McDonald's when you're 16. That's fine. But, you want to at least have something relevant that is going to be meaningful, but at least show something that people can identify with. So if you were in a profession that was highly regarded and you went to a totally different profession, that's okay. Because sometimes people are still working there and that's something that they can value. So that's what I look at it.
Great. And Al, if people want to get a copy of your book, what's the best way to find that?
Easily. Go Amazon is available, as well as Spotify if you like audio books, and other fine retailers. It's available in print, ebook, as well as audiobook. You go to my website, linkedvantage.com. I also have a free ebook on how to optimize your profile. You can go to my website, check it out, as well as I have courses available, how to optimize your profile, as well as outreach. And follow me on LinkedIn.
Cool. And again, your website is
Linkedvantage.com.
linked, LINKED,
Hmm.
linkedvantage.com.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much. I'll really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you. And for the opportunity. Appreciate it. Thank you.
My
Bye.
pleasure.